now call the June 11th, 2018 Board of Zoning meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first on the agenda is roll call.
Carrie Steele.
Here.
Bill Crawford.
Here.
Jeff Fisher. Ruby.
Here.
Jason Waterman is absent. Bill McDaniel.
Present.
Mr. Judd.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the May 14, 2018 meeting.
I only had a quick question. Actually, I was getting ready to ask it, and it's too close to time. There you go. I just don't remember the part about having to ask Colin about the front yard setback. I just don't remember that. I'm assuming that it's still, I mean, I don't think you made it up by any stretch of imagination. It was on my notes. I remember that being in, I don't remember that as part of the conversation.
Does Colin remember?
I don't remember. I couldn't tell you if I did or not.
I'll look
That's the
again.
only part that has me concerned, because like I know we talked about whether or not it was okay to have that closed fence,
Well, we would have to do a variance because it was a closed fence.
but I think that's what it says.
I don't think I was a part of that conversation. I think the question was, how
Fence
do you
height.
meet the requirements of a variance, maybe?
Maybe it was, see,
Okay.
this is what I got.
But it was a brief comment by me.
Okay, and that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that it was actually like
Okay, and that's verified though using the video, right?
I will go back and double check it.
Okay, so I guess if that's the case, if there's a question that needs to be verified, I guess we would table this then until next month?
That's appropriate. Yes.
Okay,
We'll take-
need a motion?
okay. I motion we table the approval of the minutes, the May 14th minutes until you have a chance to view the riveting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Our first petition here tonight is for Joseph and Darcy Ferreira. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but I tried best I could. Okay. They're applying for a variance for development standards, relief from the rear yard setback of 35 feet to 15 feet from the rear property line for the construction of a room addition. You want to come up and kind of give us an idea of what's going on
And the whys and
why?
wherefores. And why it needs to happen that way.
Sure. We bought our home, found the one that met about 80% of what we wanted. We were looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on some acreage with a fireplace and a porch. And so after looking for a while, we came across this property on several acres. So we thought we would go ahead and purchase it. Houses at that time were moving pretty quick, and we had put a bid on one, and it got outbid that next day, and so we decided to move forward with it. Our desire is to build on a 3rd bedroom coming out the back of the home off to the side a little bit. If you were facing the home, coming off to the right is the garage, and we couldn't build it there because we'd have to go to get through the garage to get to the rest of our house. To the other side of the home, we already have 2 bedrooms, and to put it there, we would have to take out both closets in that room, and then we'd have 2 rooms without closets that would no longer be considered bedrooms. And we also wanted to, because we couldn't match the brick, building to the sides would just look odd. You would have brick that's been weathered, and then you would have brick that was brand new. And so coming out the back, we're going to be doing a vinyl siding on it. So we wanted it to look good, obviously, from all aspects, but for the front of the room. We desired 3rd bedroom, just like probably most people. We just recently moved here from Tampa, Florida, and we just have people coming in to visit, family and our kids. And we just want to have a room for them away from us a little bit. And so the house, well-constructed house, and we just thought it would be a good idea. I realized, it has a lot of acreage, our property does, like 2+ acres, but the majority of it, obviously, is towards the front of the house. And so the back seemed to be the best place. We talked to our builders, looked at different places, and they said that's going to be the place, if we're going to build, that we're going to be able to. And so talking with our builders and our real estate agent, we decided to move forward with the variance and see if that could be approved and done. So that's what we're looking to do, to come out the back, to make it still look good from the front, and having a little extra room for our kids and our relatives when they come to visit, and place for them to stay.
Where's the septic system at out there?
The septic system, if you're looking to the house, at the house, the well's to the right, so I'm 90% sure the septic system is on the other side to the left.
Okay.
So even coming out the left side, not only would we have to get rid of the 2 closets, we believe the septic system's there. I don't know 100%, but they said most of the times they build it on the opposite side of the well.
Okay.
Can I ask a question of the builders? I'm assuming that.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the septic system, can you not tell, like, is the main drain line heading out to the
Yeah,
left?
everything's going out the west side.
The tank's on the west side and all the fingers on that side.
Okay, yeah, that's what, I mean, like you said, you can only be so sure, but, you know.
You know, well, it's just like last month, we ran into the issue of not being able to build elsewhere on the, last month with Mr. Sims'
Right.
property, because in order to get to there to build, 2 things, we either have to build over the septic, or they would actually have to drive over the septic to get to it, which is something you're not
Yeah.
supposed to do.
Well, it's
either.
just hard, like, when you own a new home, finding where things are at, and just because the previous owner said it was here.
We did build the house.
That's what I'm
Oh,
thinking.
okay,
They were the-
well, then that really helps.
They originally built it, and so that does help. But yeah, we believe it was to the left.
Okay,
And
all right,
and,
that helps a lot then.
And we did look at trying to look at those areas and see if they could do it, but they just weren't going to be feasible
Yeah,
to
no, I mean,
build
that makes
onto
sense. I
it.
mean, I just wanted to make sure that, because I know a house that I had bought, it was supposed to be on Everton's sewer and water, and it wasn't. So, yeah, that's the only reason I asked.
Yeah, I don't want
about
to
it.
build on our septic tank. I
No.
definitely don't want to do that.
Okay.
Anybody else got any questions for him? Okay. Thank you.
Demonstrators.
Are there any remonstrators in the audience? Next speak.
My name's Craig Hoffman, and I would be their neighbor. Our property is situated behind them, so they're more or less in our front yard. Obviously, I'm not in favor of, it's already a fairly close proximity. We've lived there, purchased the property in 2006, I believe it was. I understand they may have some, something that they're trying to deal with. I just, I'm fairly sure they were aware of that at the time they purchased the property. We are living in the county. Part of the reason we chose to live there was, to have the space. Sounds like there's a lot of unknowns as to what's here, what might be here, what might not be here.
So basically, your reasoning is for privacy?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm just assuming that that's what you're saying.
that would be correct. I mean, if there's, I don't know what anybody has to look at, but as far as, their home was built, right against the property line to start with.
Right.
I just don't feel that I'm, in favor of, allowing an addition that's gonna, extend even closer to our, our property line.
Right.
I don't know, they're, not sure of this, not sure of that. So, I mean, I know there's other complications that could arise, but,
Right. I know, well, matter of fact, I know I did. I did the building inspection on your house, so I'm familiar with that part. And
Did you?
I actually went out today and looked at their location, so I do know the areas.
so, it's, I mean, there's just not much room there. I knew that going into it, like I said, a number of years ago when we purchased our property. They came to town looking for a new home, and I can appreciate that. I guess I'm just thinking they kind of knew what they were getting into. I just feel like I'm being, asked for something I'm not real comfortable with.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for him? Or comments, or?
I guess my main, and I drove out there, but I'm concerned about so the front of your house, and I did not print the pictures, because it was when I first got the package, I drove out there, and I think it's confusing with the other property.
We have one right here. There you go.
Yeah, you can see, that's his house right there. Mm-hmm. This is their house. So if he goes, he's saying if they go back this way, then it's,
Right,
this
and
is
that's
his front yard.
Yeah, I remember,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. I had it, when you were talking, I thought maybe I missed a street. Like, you see what I'm getting at? Like,
Right,
so
this
no,
is
I'm,
a long
yeah.
lane back there. And like I said, there's a woods right here, it comes all the way out to there.
And that woods is still
And
there.
then- Yes. And then they have, are those your pine trees? One down the side of you or yours? Are they yours?
I think they're ours, but
Okay.
they're kind of like right on the line, I believe, but
So we don't know who's now. But
Yeah,
anyhow,
it-
there's
yeah,
a
I don't
line
think
of
that-
pine trees all the way down through there too.
Okay. Okay. And I didn't catch your name, I apologize.
Craig Hoffman.
Okay.
So I don't know there's obviously a variance for a reason.
All right.
That was there, like I said, in effect when we purchased our property.
Right.
And, I don't know what that precedence becomes, are we setting a precedent now that,
No.
that
These are they typically phrase it in, the variance is just for that particular property. It isn't a precedent that applies elsewhere, because it's a unique case each and every time with a variance.
I understand.
So it doesn't apply to anything else other than just that particular decision.
And I mean, it is obviously it's it's kind of a focal point. I mean, it's, like I said, the way their house was built, right up against the property line.
Right.
It is, I don't know, if you're looking at a picture, I think you can see that there's, it's wooded right, so.
Right back of their house.
So I just don't think it's the best idea for, I don't know what it's gonna affect, to, property values. Somebody, comes in and says, well, boy, you got somebody, 10 feet off your front porch, it's,
Okay. I think it's,
But you live back that long lane. You live
Did you
down-
see, yeah,
Yeah.
back
and that's what, like I said, I drove by it, that's why I thought maybe I was mixing up the property. When I first got the packet, I went out there, but.
so if I'm understanding, so they're saying there's a septic here
I think it's right here.
that can't be driven across, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
So I don't see how they're gonna have access to getting actually getting back there to doing any building without coming across our property line. Again, it's.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, exactly. It's tight
I
over
don't
there.
think they can, I don't see how they're gonna access it. They can't come through here, obviously.
Actually, they do have room on their own property to go around on the east side of the house.
But, it's-
There's room to get the equipment around.
yeah, they would just have to take some stuff out if they did that, like you're saying, it's,
Well, and if the septic system is,
Which
yeah.
we don't know where it is, obviously, it sounds
Well,
like, but.
But they-
I think
they
it's
can find
more
that.
than reasonable to where, I think you also bought a home. You know, nothing's 100% until you're in there, and I don't think that's I don't feel like that's a stumbling block here.
Well, I think
Especially knowing that
Mr.
Joe's built it.
Job said that off to the west is where the actual septic tank and the septic field
Yeah,
go,
that's what I
actually
mean.
off to
Yeah,
the
I
west.
don't think
So,
it's,
having the builders there,
yeah, that's why.
But they can't go on the other side of the house to get to that.
They can actually get there's sufficient room around the east side of the house on the Ferrera's property to get around.
Well, the only thing they wouldn't have, the only thing they would have to take around that side is like concrete and stuff like that, and maybe the machine that dig the.
Yeah, we have a skid loader to be able to get concrete.
I mean, they can take other things around the other side over the septic system, but not like a cement truck or anything like that.
No,
Or
it doesn't happen often, but it isn't uncommon to, I've been on several job sites where they have to use the Bobcat into the bucket and take that around for the footing.
There too.
Yeah, and then it gets built with the, which typically means when that happens, it's gonna be a block foundation.
Okay.
Correct?
Anything else that you want to add, or?
Well, so I mean, trees are, I mean, I really think that the area that they've got to work with is just so minimal that it just, just doesn't to me seem like it's, a good proposition. Now, I'm not the one spending the money, I'm not the one doing the, but our land is, right there, so I don't,
So, not to just talk to you, but, so this addition, it's going to be 10 feet more than what your house is, or 25 feet more than what the house is? Today?
Right now, there's 26 feet from the house to the existing property line. And when we're going out, 26 feet of it. And so now we're shy from the 35 feet.
26 feet is,
And you're saying, say that one more time.
We got 41 foot.
Oh, okay.
For the existing
Okay,
house.
that's the part I wanted to hear. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because it
We're going out
doesn't,
26 feet.
it didn't look like there was that much unless it goes into the woods.
And the proposal would then place the foundation line at 15 feet back from the property line, correct?
Yeah.
Now that stake that's out there today,
That was surveyed off at one time, he was willing to sell the land.
oh,
But
so
then
is
he
that,
changed his
is
mind
that
back
the
on it.
actual property line today?
Pardon?
Is that stake the actual property line today? Okay. Okay. Thank you. And a rebuttal, or anybody else want to speak? You ought to come up here if you don't mind, please.
I guess it's Realtor,
You need to, sorry.
Jay
Hendricks.
Cornett, I didn't get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, shouldn't we have a sign-in sheet?
Well,
At the very least, state your name and address because of the whole record thing. but-
yeah, that's a good idea. So just say who you are. and
Okay, Jay Cornett,
Where you live and all that.
live 2079 Glenbrook Drive, Connersville,
All right.
lifelong residence. My only concern is not trying to take sides or anything, but as a Realtor, I look at it and I see it's, I don't know how many feet from his property home, which doesn't adversely affect the aesthetics of his home. It's not close enough. I see it as a build of equity in a home that has been bought, raises our excuse me, I've got a bad voice. I've been south and I come back to this, and anyway, I think it raises taxes base. I don't think it is any adverse possession. It's not, if it was closer to the gentleman's own home, and I don't know, I didn't look at the footage from the actual property line, till it gets to his house, that would be my concern. If it was closer, that might be a concern, but it's a long lane, it's way back. Nothing's going to change in the front to aesthetically defect or adversely affect his home. So again, not trying to take sides, I don't understand, the interference.
It looks like it's 230 feet.
Just use a rough measurement of the GIS structure to structures, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 230 feet.
I imagine most of us have neighbors closer than that.
And you live where, I'm sorry?
I
I'm
live
sorry,
on-
that's not allowed. You're not allowed to ask questions of the, that's,
I live
you
in
can
Carter-
talk to the board, but you can't.
I mean, you can ask us, she'll tell you.
I didn't write it down, I didn't have my paper up.
Well, it's recorded, so.
Yeah, it's,
Gotcha.
It's just improper to, give questions. You should address the board.
Because it's supposed to address the
Yes.
board.
And like I said, I'm just addressing what I see
Okay.
and the cosmetic and the interference that it might have. And I would be on the other side of the statement if I thought it was going to adversely affect the property and value, because that's what we do. We go out and assess values. We're not assessors, but we do BPOs, market analysis and so forth. And that would, if it was in his back door, as we heard, it would affect his value. And I would not be standing here because I have all the respect, 47 years in the real estate business, I have all the respect for property owners and their rights and locations and the aesthetics of it and the values that the aesthetics might place on a certain property with other things happening to it. I don't see that here, and that's just trying to be an unbiased opinion in the situation.
Okay. Thank you.
Have any questions?
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Oh, strictly rebuttal.
Of course, we desire to be good neighbors, and we always want to respect people's privacy, and we would, in speaking with it, if there was, we want privacy also. We don't want to be looking at neighbors. We find that there's, especially now, to me, we can't see his house when we're on our back porch. I realize things also change a little bit in the wintertime when there's not as much foliage, and my wife and I would be willing to plant evergreen trees even more if necessary to provide a little more privacy if they felt that would help at all. We obviously don't want people looking at, we feel like it's far enough away, but we would more than willingly plant some evergreens to help with any more privacy issue if that would be, of any help whatsoever.
Okay.
I
I have a question then to Mr. Judd. So, particularly based on Mr. Ferrera's comment, it would be appropriate then, since the Board of Zoning Appeals can attach conditions on the approval, such as whether it's the screening.
Sure.
Would this then possibly be an appropriate then condition as part of the motion was to provide additional evergreen vegetative screening?
I think so. I think that would be within your discretion.
Yeah.
I think it's in our discretion, but I'm of no humor to entertain that.
Okay.
Regardless, we would still be more than willing to.
I think
Okay.
if that's something that you want to do of your own accord, I think that's a neighborly thing to do. I
Okay.
do not feel looking at the, and I'll
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you. I would like to see, to approve this variance, we have a set of standards that we have to go. There's five sections in it that actually tell us whether we can actually approve this or not approve it. And some of the things that you mentioned, are in these sections. So
You also have my proposed findings also, and then also the proposed findings from the petitioner.
we actually have, like he was saying, we may not have heard him, but he actually has his staff recommendations based over his, going out and viewing it and looking at the code as far as these five sections that we have here to approve it. So,
I guess
it'd be, well, now it's for comments and then close the hearing.
okay, comments?
for us, right?
Yeah.
The hearing part is closed.
Yeah, close the hearing, then comments.
Okay, we're now closing the hearing. We're having comments.
I wanted to go through, I feel like I wanted to you kind of took the words right out of my mouth about, and there's actually, as you were speaking, Mr. Hoffman, I take it very seriously anytime that there's anytime there's a request for a variance, I feel like it's my responsibility to go back through and make sure that it meets those things, but especially if there's somebody in the public that is feeling adversely affected. So as he's talking, I go through and, the 6, I'm just gonna read them briefly. It will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in a practical difficulty in use of the property. There are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditional applicable to the property or the intended use that do not apply generally to the other property or class of use in the same vicinity. Such variances are necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right possessed by other properties in the same vicinity and district. That the granting of such variance will not alter the land use characteristics of the vicinity and district or increase congestion in the streets. And when I go through there, what I see is that, you both have clearly very nice homes, and the difference between adding a 25-foot bedroom to one home does not, in my opinion, impose on any of the 6 criteria we have to look at. And that's why I feel very strongly, and I would not support, given our lean quorum tonight, I would not support the condition of additional screening to be required of the applicant.
Okay, any other comments? All right,
Entertain a motion.
entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the variance as presented.
Second it.
Okay, let's have a roll call, please.
Carrie Steele,
Yes.
Bill Crawford,
Yes,
Ruby,
Yes.
and that's all they can vote.
okay.
Okay.
So, Bill, they just need to come in and get their permit now, is that right?
And that's what they will need to do.
Okay, so you just need to come in office, get the permit, and then he'll let you know what the step is. And we thank everyone for coming to the meeting tonight.
And you will be receiving a letter from me about the approval of the variance tonight.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, next on the agenda is the director's report. Did we get that?
I move to accept the report as presented.
And motion made to accept it as reported.
I guess, what is it, pending audit as well, right? Like, doesn't it have to be audited? I'm just kidding.
Do what?
Oh, never mind.
I don't know if it had to be
Oh,
audited.
Lord, get him wound up.
What audit? Audit what?
Your director's report.
Yes, I'll make a second on that.
She
Do
was
you
gonna-
really want me to talk on detail?
No.
She was
That's
gonna
why I
say
said-
subject to auditing, that's what she was gonna say. But she just was joking,
I was teasing.
Calm down, Bill.
and she's getting ready to be quiet now.
Hand me the
All right, the motion been made, oh, what,
sheet,
shoot,
signature page.
oh, that, all right.
I don't see why that guy was such,
Oh, hang on, you gotta finish so you second the motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, it's been properly seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. I
was there any other comments?
don't think so.
Okay, all right, motion's been made to adjourn,
I'll second it.
motion's been made to second it,
It has to be.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.